honored to introduce Dr. Vasudha Nilmani uh, as a moderator of this meeting for us. She is a well-known personality. I'm honored to share about her some of the things that we have done in life, and it's my honor. She is the principal of Rockwoods International School, Udaipur. But it is not enough. She has many more feathers to her cap. She the co-founder of Emotional Head of Global Edu Leaders Forum. She is vice chairperson of Learning Forward India and a thought leader of SHM. And also, she is a profound and illustrious educationist with over 27 years of experience spanning across teaching, administration, mentoring, and advisory roles, with 16 years in Cambridge education and 10 years in leadership roles. She is the recipient of many prestigious awards, double masters in psychology and education. She is a regular blogger and writes, and she is the author of a well-known book, Gratitude, The Purpose of Life. So it's my honor that I am here to introduce her on behalf of Gayn Rashmi and the team. I welcome her, and now I would hand over to her to take it continue from here. Thank you so much, Dr. Vasudha, to be here. Thank you.
Um, Thank you so much, Rashmi ji. And it's an honor to be co hosting and be the host of Global Mental Health Summit, which is, I feel, mental health is the most important factor in one's lives. And it is as essential and as significant and as important as the physical health. But unfortunately, it has been ignored. There have been many researchers that have stated that all the health related issues are caused by mental issues. If a person is in stress, if a person is um, thinking something negative, so it leads to the physical health issues also. Uh, Having learned a little bit about Reiki also, so I know that with Reiki it is directly related that if you we are having if an individual is having back pain, so it means he is thinking very responsible and bogged down with responsibilities. If somebody has fever, so it is because of unexpressed anger. I have been something, this mental health, spirituality, emotional well-being has always been very close to my heart. So I did a very interesting course called on batch therapy, and it was a therapy related to flowers. And Dr. Edward Batch also rightly said that physical health is directly related to a person's mental well-being and mental health. It is very important. Our Most of the Indian people must have heard about Sadhguru Isha Center. I was fortunate to listen to his very interesting video on stress management, and I will share some findings of this. He says that people have accepted that stress is the part of our life, and that's why we have coined a term called stress management. We manage things that are close to our heart. We manage money, we manage our family, we manage finances, we manage health. So it is accepted that stress is something that we feel that it is very close to our heart or part of our lives. That's why we need to manage stress. So if we don't think about stress as one of the important factors in our lives and we accept life as it comes, so I don't think we need to have a concept of stress management also. It is a well known theory that a power of manifestation, our thoughts and words becoming our actions. So in the adverse circumstances, also unusual times, also we must stay positive, manifest positive things in our life, have resilience. I request each one of you to kindly mute yourselves, and we need to be resilient in these unusual times, and that will be the way forward. As Rashmiji said, that I have authored a book called Gratitude, the Purpose of Life. So it says it's a very handy book on of 21 days to take care of our emotional health, pay gratitude to whatever we have to attract abundance. And I would just like to quote one of the quotes that I have written, which says that emotional strength is greater than physical strength. So I congratulate Gayn Rashmi Trainings and Miss Rashmi for this wonderful session today, and for this Global Mental Health Summit. And I'm very sure that most of us will have a lot of takeaways from here. So before I begin, I would request you to mute yourselves, and please, um, we will be asking, we will be having a platform for asking questions to the panelists. So with that, we begin our session, and we start with Miss Cosmina. Miss Cosmina is a hypnotherapist, empowerment coach, a personal development mentor. Coming from a teaching background, she's passionate about helping individuals heal past traumas and free themselves from toxic relationships by teaching them tools and strategies to create of freedom, a life of freedom and love. And Cosmina, you will be glad to know that I have also done a course on past life regression, and it is very, very interesting. So over to you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Vasudaji. I'm super excited to be here and to be presenting on the topic of relationship. And indeed, as you mentioned, we are living in extraordinary times. It's a pandemic, and in order to live a balanced life, like we have certain areas of life that they all should be in balance in order to have a fulfilling life. And those areas would be like relationship, the mental health that Vasudaji just mentioned, and the health and well-being, like the physical health, right? The amount of exercise that we are doing, as well as the career and finance. My purpose for today is going to talk about this tiny slice, but it's super, super important into our lives, and that is relationships and the connections that. And right now, because we are living in this extraordinary times, I believe that there is a loneliness epidemic. We can't really go out and meet with other people. We don't have that kind of relationships as before. Like we don't have access to other people as before. So my focus would be on how to improve and how to achieve that emotional well-being in the context of our relationships. And I'm going to share my screen. I hope I can do that. Yeah, I can. Okay. Good. So a little bit about me. My name is Cosmina Lunjano, and I love teaching about relationships because of my own personal story. I have been in a toxic relationship, and this prompted me to start researching on what are the dynamics, how we get into certain type of relationship, and sometimes we get stuck in them. So I became really passionate on the subject. And I work with clients, especially women who are coming like from abusive relationships, and I'm helping them to overcome and achieve that again, that self-esteem, the sense of self-esteem. Now, moving forward, I want to introduce you to a quote that is really, really special. It says like something like this: our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And this is a quote by Marianne Williamson. And I truly believe that it's actually, we are afraid of our true potential and actually stepping into that rather than facing the obstacles. We are more scared of success than of failure. Although there is a fear of failure as well, but this is reflecting also in our relationship. Or sometimes we wear a mask. We want to be perceived in a certain way, but we are not really showing our true selves. And in order to nurture meaningful relationships, we really have to show up as our true authentic selves. The foundation for any relationship in our life is a relationship, first and foremost, the relationship that we have with ourselves. I think we all can agree here that if you feel horrible about yourself, you can't expect our people to really like see you for who you truly are and really appreciate you. They might, but you might not really be able to appreciate and see yourself as a being that you are if you are looking through the lenses of like this, let's say you are blindsided and looking on your negatives, and if you don't know yourself. Now, connectedness starts within. And this is the foundation, like the main thing that I would like you to think about it from and take away from today is that in the relationship with your spouse, your family members, your co-workers, if you are not able to have healthy boundaries, if you are not able to communicate your needs and your feelings openly and coming from a place of authenticity, then those relationships will lack that depth. So it starts from within, from knowing yourself first, and then once we are fully whole and accepting of ourselves, then we can show up for others and begin building those meaningful relationships. In psychology, there is a very famous psychologist called Abraham Maslow, and he introduced the concept of the pyramids of needs. So in order for any human being to feel happy and fulfilled, there are certain needs that have to be fulfilled, and actually they are the ones that motivate us in life. So if you look at the bottom of this pyramid here, you can see that we have some the basic needs like food, shelter, security, and safety that are exactly like at the base of this pyramid. So unless we have that, we cannot focus on like growing in life or having like thinking of love or something if we don't have what we need, right? So unless these basic needs are met first, we cannot actually build on them and grow. After these needs are met, we look at belongingness and love needs. And here are the relationships, the connection that we have with other people. And also the sense of self. How do we feel about ourselves? Do we love ourselves? Are we feeling happy? Are we feeling accomplished? So we need to have this feeling of validation and acknowledgement from others as well. And at the top of the pyramid, as you can see here, is this what Maslow called the self-actualization. And this means to achieve one's true potential and including the creative activities, but really stepping into your your true greatness, knowing your innate gifts and abilities and your contribution to the world. And actually, he added in his later work another layer to this pyramid, and that was, he called it self-transcendence. He theorized that people cannot achieve that true fulfillment in life unless they work towards a higher goal, like beyond ourselves. So if you think even in your own life, you feel better when you are giving of yourself, when you are sharing your gifts with others. We can't really live in a bubble all by ourselves, right? We actually need to share, and we are part of a whole. I would like you to please put yourself on mute if you just joined. Thank you so much. So we are part of a whole, like we are not islands, and relationships are so important. But still, even we might be in a relationship, like romantic relationship, a marriage, or be surrounded by people and still feel lonely inside. And as a feeling of loneliness, like I would like you to consider a couple of questions. And when I say loneliness, I'm not saying that you are like on top of a mountain or living in a cave. Okay, it's how you feel inside and how satisfied are you regarding the people in your life, the relationship that you have. So, for example, do you feel on the outside when you are looking in a social situation? Do you feel like you don't belong? Do you feel invisible or excluded? Do you hunger for friendships or close family to open up to? So is it painful to be alone? Sometimes we, based on our conditioning, like on how we grown up, like the ideas that got imprinted on our minds when we uh, grown up, like from childhood, and during the experiences of our lives, we have certain ideas regarding relationships and people. Sometimes we come to be people pleasers. And so if you, for example, you find yourself as saying yes when you actually want to say no, that is a pattern of codependency and people pleasing and not respecting and honoring yourself. So it's a sign that you are not truly having a healthy relationship with yourself. So do you spend more time on the internet than with people? Well, here during this time, I'm pretty sure that most people would answer yes, because, well, we can't meet people as before. Do you feel that no one understands you? Are you missing a nourishing sense of spirituality? Are you feeling out of contact with your intuition and your heart's desire? Is it hard for you to ask for emotional support? And this is super important. Like suicide is on the rise because simply people are not or are feeling ashamed to simply ask for support or to share what they are going through emotionally. And the last question that I would like you to consider is, do you feel easily rejected in social situations? So loneliness, it doesn't mean to be alone. It means in this context, when I refer to loneliness, it's how satisfied, how fulfilled are you with your connections, with your relationships. So you can be in a marriage, but you will not be 100% satisfied, in the sense that maybe you will feel that your partner does not understand you, or your family is not accepting you for who you are. So are you feeling that you are truly accepted and loved for who you are by everyone in your life? So if you answered yes to any of these questions, Okay. It means that you have a higher level of loneliness and your relationships as a whole, okay, there is a lot of improvement to be done in a sense of inner work, like a work on yourself. Well, whenever we talk about relationships, we talk about our people, of course, but what we can do from our side is to work on ourselves and to eliminate the patterns that keep us stuck. Um, in the workshops that are going to follow these presentations, I'm going to talk a little bit and to work on attachment styles. Whenever we are in a relationships and based um, on the patterns of what we have learned, like from childhood and growing up, teenager years, and the relationship as well as we had till now. Based on the theory of attachment, there are 4 types. So you might be secure when you feel truly trusting. You can open yourself easily towards other people, and you are pretty straightforward. Or the other ones are insecure, anxious, insecure, avoidant, and disorganized. So I'm not going to go really into so much details about it, but if you think back on what you were taught about the ideas of independence in a relationship, about giving and receiving love, support, or affection, so how you react and how you feel about these concepts, they actually represent your attachment style. So if you are clinging to a partner whenever you are in a relationship or even with a friendship, like you become like jealous and very clingy, like whenever they show like that you feel that your needs are not met, or let's say expectations are not met. You might have, for example, an insecure, anxious attachment style, and there are ways of how to counteract that and how to actually bridge, because depending on the attachment style of the partner, sometimes can be a clash, and instead of pulling towards, it will become pulling away, and many marriages fail because of that, especially like in the context of romantic relationships I'm referring here. But this also can reflect in other types of relationships in our lives. Coming to the pattern of workshops that I'm going to talk about. In the first workshops, we are going to find out how to reprogram the biology of loneliness and connection. So what happens when we are in that state of loneliness, and how we can actually bridge this gap, like from loneliness to having connection and opening up towards people. And then in the second workshop is mapping the psychology of loneliness. What is happening, like inside ourselves? What is stopping us back? What are the ideas? What is keeping us stuck from, like for example, feeling shy or anxious whenever we might be in a social situation, and how we can start actually. I will present some strategies on how to have more meaningful conversations and connection with people. So the art of managing conflict. So someone is writing on my screen, so please don't do that. Okay, thank you so much. And then the last one, attracting connections and some cures for loneliness. With this being said, I am going to stop here my presentation, and I just want to leave you with an idea that love can only stay if it's seen the real you. And I'm going to stop share. I hope it's okay. Dr. Basudaji, I'm handing it back to you. In case there are any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Wonderful, Cosmina. Can I intervene?
Yes, please, please. If you
Okay.
can introduce yourself, because I can't see you. So
Okay. I'm vice principal
Excuse
of.
me, excuse
Yes.
me. The questions will be asked in the end, and you can write your questions in the chat box, please. Questions are in the end. So all the speakers are there, and they will be answering to the questions, but towards the end. And there is all the delegates. Kindly note that there is some free gift card for the delegates towards the end. Whosoever there will be some lucky draw, I know. So please bear with us. So we will be having the question answer session towards the end. So now with that, I would like to invite Miss Petrolin. She is the owner of Explosive Minds. As a former executive, she worked for 19 plus years, creating high performance global teams where she was responsible for career and personal development. She is now a full-time NLP master practitioner and helps executives and high-level leaders who suffer from the burnout. So over to you, Ms. Petrolin.
Thank you so much, Dr. Basuda. So yeah, it's a great honor for me to be here. And as she mentioned, I am a peak performance coach. My company is Explosive Minds. So you can find that on Facebook or on YouTube. Just search for that if you want more information on that. But I mainly work currently with executives who find themselves at the place of exhaustion and burnout, and high-level leaders. And I also do peak performance coaching for professional athletes and business owners. I do have many years in the medical research industry, and that's really where I started to become curious about behavior, right? And why people do certain things the way they do. And one of the main experiences in my life was when my youngest son was at school and he was diagnosed with ADHD and had a lot of issues at school and primary school. And I mean, he was really not fit for the classroom setup and how kids were learning there. And that's also where I started to get more curious about, all right, but what else is there that we can do for him? So I want to talk to you today about techniques that have been specifically used and very successfully used in spelling strategies that help kids to spell and communicate better. And we use these same strategies to reprogram our mind and to do make certain changes and behavioral changes in our own lives. But I wanted to focus on something. I wanted to give you something that you can take away, at least one thing, take it away. You can go and practice it, or you can go and teach your students the same and see how they fare. Now, I do want to share these underlying techniques that were used for these spelling, or to teach kids how to spell better. And in the upcoming workshops that we will have, we will dive deeper into that, and we will go into more detail as to where is your optimal state of performance, right? Where is that place and what does it look like? What does it feel like for you to operate in that space? Now, during the research that they did with these kids on their spelling, they found out that the kids that did really well with spelling were the kids that actually taught themselves the words phonetically. But now here's the problem. In English, that doesn't work, because in English, we get two letters that are pronounced differently depending on how it's used in a word and where it's used in a word. So that obviously people found out that that's probably not going to work. But what they've also learned is that the world's best spellers would say the word to themselves, and then they will visualize the letters literally on a screen. They will like see the word on the screen, and that will help them when they recall the word. That will help them to immediately see in their mind's eye, oh gosh, but there's something with how I'm currently trying to spell the word. And that's how these kids got better at spelling. So just by saying the words to themselves and then visualizing that word in their memory, they then could immediately tell if something wasn't right. So what they did is they started to teach these visualization techniques to the poor spellers, and their spelling immediately got better. So why is that? We all take information in through our 5 senses. That's how we make sense of the world, right? That's why we say we make sense of the world. So everything that we see, everything that we hear, everything that we feel on our skin and movement around us, and then taste and smell, not so much, but it also plays a role. Those are the 5 senses that our body uses to experience our environment. That's the only way you can do that. Now, our body has tons of neuroreceptors. There's no other way we can take in the information. And every single experience, therefore, that we have in life, since the time we were born, and there are even scientists that says in the womb, but since that time up until now, every single experience we have in life is a product of what we've seen, of what we've heard, what we felt, what on our skin, movement, everything, anything around feeling and movement, what we smelled and tasted. So we rely on our 5 senses to gather information from the external world. And some of these senses might be more prominent for some people than others, but it's different for every person. That's why it's a good idea to know yourself even. Are you a strong visual learner, or is your kid or the child a strong auditory learner? Because you want to tap into whatever sense is more prominent for that individual or for yourself. Now, as we start to receive the information from the external world, right? As you go out here, as you're watching the video, that information goes into your brain, and your brain starts to code that information, because now it needs to give you output in a way that you can understand it. And it groups it all in the same manner for us. And it will then eventually store it as a memory. That memory that the brain expresses will be stored in the same manner that you have taken in the information. So if you had an experience, you visually saw something beautiful, your brain is going to take a snapshot of that and code that and store that as a picture in your mind and in your memory. And that's why for certain experiences, you might remember sounds. You might remember a taste, although it's rare, but you might remember a taste. Something didn't taste well. And you will remember pictures and visual things that you have seen. Now, for example, if we, like I said, visually, your brain will always store it in the form of a picture. It's like taking a snapshot, right? If you go on holiday and you take photographs, and you put it in your album. I don't know how many people still have that, right? But you have the album on the coffee table, you have some friends over, and you page through the album, but you see a picture, and you can tell an entire story around that picture. And that is exactly what your mind does. It only takes a single snapshot of that entire experience and puts it and store it in your mind. And then for auditory, the sounds and the words and the stuff that you hear, that's how you will remember it and how your mind stores those memories. And then for feelings, it's all about the feeling and how you feel inside and the emotions that you experience. And that is how your mind will store those memories. Now, how does that relate to learning? When we bring in information into our mind and we use all of our senses, or as much of our senses as we can, we're going to recall things much better, and understand things way better. So today's kids, all of them, nearly all of them, learn through reading something, memorizing it, and then they have to go and write a test about it. They got so used to it that is what they're comfortable, right? Many kids don't even know that there's a different way that they can actually take in information, and adults as well, take in information much better and much faster, and actually recall it also much better. And I'm pretty sure from a practical standpoint, you would also remember when it's great to learn something from a textbook, right? It's even better when you start to write it down. It's even better when you start to play with pictures somewhere on your wall, whatever the case might be, or whatever it is that you're comfortable with. So the more you get those 5 senses involved, the better you're going to remember and the better you're going to recall that information. So how can you apply that to studies? Let's say, for example, you have, I'm taking history because that's sort of an easy example. If you take history, for example, when you read the textbook, you're going to read the textbook, or you might sit in class, or you might watch a video online and somebody's speaking about whatever the information is and the content is. But you can take that a step further and literally make a movie in your mind about the events. Let's say there are events over 4 or 5 years that you need to remember, specific dates, specific months, and you create your own movie, even with a soundtrack. You can do that as well, and you'll be surprised how well you're going to remember that information, because now it literally becomes an experience. So I want to take you back. And why is that important? Like, why do we want it to become an experience? Because at that point, emotions are involved. You start to feel things in your body when you get all of your senses involved. If you think back when you were small, and even if with your own kids, if you still have little kids and you watch them, and they are playing an imaginary game, like they imagine they are Spider-Man, they Wonder Woman, they have tea with a queen, or whatever the case might be. In the first 2 minutes, they still like around you, but 5 minutes into the game, they are in their own world. They are immersed fully in that experience. And it's not like they are asleep. They're not like completely, Stuart might explain this better, but they're not completely hypnotized that they have no idea where they are, right? They're just completely immersed in that experience, and they enjoy it. All of their senses is involved, and they are experiencing emotions as well. So take the time when you are studying, when you are doing something, take the time to involve all of your senses as much as you can. So what you see, what you hear, what you feel, and the emotions that goes with that. Probably not what you taste. I don't know, unless you have studies around bakery or something like that. That might work. But you will really be amazed at how easy it will be to understand the material. So in our upcoming workshops, I will go deeper into this topic, and I will actually teach you some of these techniques that can cause and help you and even your students to learn better and learn faster. And these are all techniques you can actually apply in other areas of your life. So before I leave you guys, I do want to quickly share my screen, because I want to give you a practical experience of what that looks like, right? So I'm just going to quickly share my screen. So, okay. So I want to show you how does that work. And I want you to look at these pictures and notice the difference of how do you feel inside of you when you see the pictures. And I'm going to show you 2 that's more or less the same, but I also want you to notice what's the difference in terms of how you feel between the 2. So if you look at this spider, fairly smallish on the screen, sits on a spider web, sort of secured, anchored. And the difference between looking at this spider, this might take you aback because it's a big spider. and it like almost, I want to say, attack your senses, right? This picture where you are on a bike, it feels like you are in the moment, you are racing down the street, versus this picture. Much more relaxed, going with the flow, no haste, no rushing. So it's a different feeling that you get, right? Based on the visual picture that you get. This picture, where you sort of stand on the edge of a ledge, looking down into the water, looks a little bit scary. And if you look at this picture, you're further away, looking from a distance, doesn't look so scared anymore. So this is a practical example of how what you see creates certain things and emotions and memories in your body. And that is the exact same, I almost want to say, things you want to solicit from yourself, from your mind, all of your senses, from your emotions, and take that into your learning experience to make it more, I almost want to say memorable, but for you to remember information better, and also for you to retain the information and recall the information better. Thank you. So I am going to hand back to Dr. Reseda.
Yeah, thank you so much. If anyone has any questions, we would request you to kindly put it in the chat box, and we will be coming towards all the questions towards the end. So with that, we move to Ms. Neeru Verma. Neeru, a health and wellness coach, is the senior yoga teacher from International Shivananda Yoga Center. With over 15 years of experience, she is the founder of Divine Grace Wellness. She conducts freelance workshops on wellness for different institutions. She's also a guest lecturer at the School of Happiness, Ramanujan College, Delhi University. So over to you, Ms. Neeru Verma.
Thank you so much. I welcome you all. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. As I'm going to talk on a very important subject, which we all facing now, the health issues, because health is a real wealth. So just give me a second. I have to share my screen. So how, with the help of yoga, we are going to take care of our health. So as we all know that what is yoga? Yoga is a science of right living, how we should live. And yoga has a different, it works on various parts, various aspects of our body, mind and soul. It's a science of right living, how we should live our life. And why we are having so much of problem nowadays, because we have forgotten that how we have to live our life, what we have to eat, how we have to think. So yoga brings the harmony between the mind, body and soul. So whenever we are living in the imbalance, the body is not in balance, and mind and body are not in balance, that creates a lot of problem. Diseases come in the body. Even the medical science has also now proved that when yoga is used as a therapy, so it brings the balance between the endocrine system and the nervous system, and which really works on all the parts of the body, all the systems of the body. Because when your endocrine system and nervous system are not in harmony, so the health is affected. All the systems of the body gets affected. So what exactly is yoga? Yoga, in short, is that what we are thinking, what we are speaking, and what we are doing should be in harmony. So yoga is a balance and harmony between mind, body, and soul. It has various aspects, various parts of the yoga. It includes not only just the exercise, but the proper breathing also, how we have to breathe, how we have to do the exercises, proper relaxation. We have forgotten this, how we have to relax. And the diet is also, of course, a very important part, because uh, diet affects our mind and mind affects our body. Mind and body are not separate. Positive thinking and meditation. So these are of the 5 parts of the yoga. So we all know, because nowadays there's so much of emphasis on what to eat. We are very aware of what we are eating. So yoga is what you eat, but there's a concept of food yoga. It is not only what you eat, it is how you eat is also very important. When you are eating, what is your state of mind, how you are eating? Yeah. Anira. 1 minute, just a minute. ये कहाँ से आई है?
Please unmute yourself, Niruji. We can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. So I'm sorry for the disturbance.
I think you will have to start the slideshow, because we can just see your screen with the one main slide and few PowerPoints towards the end.
Can you see now the proper
We
diet?
can no, so we don't see, we're not seeing the slide. We can just see your presentation with the global summit, the heading, and there are 4-5 slides towards the end.
Can you see now what is yoga?
No, we cannot. So I think it would be better if you just speak, because we have the paucity of time also. So if we are not able to see, it's absolutely fine. You can just share your experiences.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was just talking about the diet. Diet part is very important, because we all know what we have to eat. But according to yoga, the right diet is lacto-vegetarian diet. So most of the time we are eating in a rush, in a hurry, and when we are eating, we are stressed out. We are either watching TV or on the mobile, so we are not putting full attention to what we are eating. So our mind should be actually very relaxed. If we are even if we are eating the right food, but if we are eating with a disturbed mind, so that food will convert into poison. So we have to really take care of how we are eating. And right diet according to yoga is lacto-vegetarian one, and because the non-veg and all these diets are very hard on the body to digest. And there are some benefits of fasting. 5 rules of health. Food is actually, it can be used as a medicine, and if we are using food as a medicine, then we will use medicine as food. So food, we really have to take care of how we are eating, with what thoughts we are eating, with what state of mind we are eating. That is very important part of the diet. So now I am going to focus on a few problems, like which normally have the backache. Everybody, sometime in their life, they have back problem, back pain. So how, with the help of yoga, we can take care of our back pain? So what is the causes? Most of the time, the causes of the back pain is muscular insufficiency or inadequate flexibility of the muscles, because our posture is not right when we are sitting, or we are sitting for a long period of time. So it puts a lot of pressure on the muscles and the lower back muscles, and the muscles become very tight. They lose their flexibility. So that is the time when they have pain. Or either we are not doing the exercises, we are overweight. That being overweight also put a lot of pressure on the muscles of the back. And back pain also starts lower back to your sometimes neck pain and between the shoulders also. When we are sitting working for long hours on the computer, we feel the pain in our neck and between the shoulders also. So what can we do? How we can take care of that? How does the yoga helps in that, and the diet works? Most of the time, it has been proved for the, they did the research and it was proved that 80 more than 80% cases, lower back pain was just because of the pressure on the lower back muscles, the stiffness, the tightness. So when you are relaxing on the ground, in the shavasana, basically, or in the hard bed rest, you're relaxing on your back, that proper relaxation works. Most of the time your back pain is gone within few days if you just relax. So relaxation is very, very important. And I have to show some asanas also, like down this, how will I?
Ma'am, if you click on the enable editing, then it will be start. The slideshow will start.
From where?
Upper portion, it's yellow color line, enable editing. Just
I
click on
think
enable editing.
Excuse me, ma'am. Please press the F5 button.
I am seeing the my screen.
In the PowerPoint screen, you just click the F5 button on the means keyboard.
Neeruji, I'm sorry, it is the paucity of time. So the time is up. There are 3 to 4 more speakers, please. So if
So,
you
ma'am,
can wind up.
just a minute. Can you see now?
No, we cannot see the screen. Yes, now we can see the yoga. So if you can just, wind up, because.
Yeah. Can you see now?
Yes.
Okay. So I was talking about the back pain. So this is, there are some asanas which we can do, like this is Makrasana, simple asana, which really is very helpful when you are doing this. It releases the back pressure on the back muscles. So anybody can do this, lying down on your abdomen and just focused breathing. When you are in yoga, breathing is very important. Your mind should be focused on the breathing. So when you focus on this tailbone to your upper back portion, you release all the stiffness, all the pressure on this back. You can easily do this asana for 5 to 10 minutes. And this is Ardha Shalbhasana. This is also very good for the lower back pain. And then this is Shavasana, relaxation poses. There are 2 relaxation asanas. Then lying down on your bed, and Advasana on the abdomen. They are also very good for the lower back pain. Now there are some home remedies which we can do for the lower back pain or any back pain. The 4 to 5 walnuts, if we take on the empty stomach and chew them properly. So this is very good for all the joint pains. We can take it for a few days, and it really is good. Drink warm water. Avoid heavy or oily food. Massage gently with tarpon oil. And then haldi powder we all have at home, these turmeric powder, dry ginger powder, methi powder. If you mix it and take 1 teaspoon morning and evening, This is very good for all the joint pains. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the kidney problem. Many times where people are having blood pressure and the diabetes, most of the time because of the diabetes, it puts a lot of pressure on the kidney. Kidney problem starts. So the kidney is a very important part of the body. It filters the blood. So there are other causes also. People don't drink enough water, lack of exercise, unsuitable diet containing excessive meat, which is very hard to digest, put a lot of pressure on the kidney. Refined flour and sugar products, too much of tea and coffee, and liver is overloaded because of these diets, wrong eating habits, and it really puts a lot of pressure on the kidney. So how we can take care of our kidney? We can do this asana, Shalbhasan, Kati Chakra Asana. They are very helpful in kidney. Trikonasana, Vajrasana is very good, especially this is the only asana which we can do after meals. We can sit in this position for 5 minutes, so it helps in the digestion of the food. And then the dietary recommendations, we have to eat more of this alkaline food and fruits, juices, light vegetables, which are easy to digest. And fasting is highly recommended when you are having kidney and liver problem. So because it really cleanses and purify the urinary system and the so we really have to keep fast once in a week to give some rest to the kidney and liver. Now the home remedies. Parsley tea is very, very good for the kidney and liver problems. Dandelion green tea and Triphala water, when taken, is the best detox. Even anybody can take, even if you have no problem. So this is a very good. Triphala really cleanses the entire system of the body. You have to soak it in the water and then you have to take it in the morning. Dhania powder, dry soak in water overnight and drink it in the morning, empty stomach. Adrak juice, ginger juice, is especially good for the liver and kidney. And all the other juices like lemon, oranges, watermelon, ginger, they are also very good for the liver and kidney. So this is all what I wanted to tell about this, that how yoga and combined with the food, how we can take care of our health and treat the various health related issues. This is what I will be going to work on the coming workshops on the various health issues, how we can take care with the yoga and diet. So thank you so much, and I'm sorry for the trouble. Now over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, you'll have to stop sharing the screen, please.
Yeah.
Now with this, we move on to Mr. Stuart. After successful 35 years corporate career at global IT company, Stuart Foster founded Unscrambled Heads Limited. He provides a confidential space for executives, corporate professionals, and students to explore life and career transformation journeys. He's a master hypnotherapist, and using hypnosis, his clients unlock their hidden emotions, feeling, fears, and full potential. So, not taking much of your time, Stuart, over to you.
Great, thank you, Dr. Basuda, and it's a great honour to be here today, all the way from the United Kingdom. So I'm based about 30 miles west of London in England, and the topic I'm going to be sharing with you today and during the upcoming workshops is about emotions, because, well, for two reasons really. Firstly, in about 2012, 2013, I personally experienced an episode of what I like to call corporate burnout, which really impacted my emotional well-being, and successfully recovered from that. And one of the journeys that I went on after corporate burnout was to qualify as a hypnotherapist. And as a hypnotherapist in the sessions that I run with clients, I see many of my clients able to unleash some of the emotional blockages that they experience within inside their body. If you were to look up emotions in some of the learned texts, you may find that there is a different number of emotions. Some texts will say about 6, some go as high as about 12, 13, 14. But typically the number that most people quote is 6, and the core emotions will be happy, sad, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. So those 6. Emotions is a very interesting word. If you actually stretch it out a bit, you actually get emotions, which is a really good kind of synonym to think about emotions, because when we think about the human being, the human organism, and everything which is manifest in the world, we can start to break it down to the cellular level, to the atomic level, and actually down into the quantum level as well, which was very interesting from my prior career in the IT industry as well. But quantum is all about energy, and energy in motion becomes an emotion. So at our very core, we are energy, and when you start to move energy within us, it can become an emotion. So I have a very simple message for you today, and in the workshops that I run after this event, and that is to consider the mind, a representational system of the mind or the brain. There are many different representational systems that we can have for the mind or the brain, but one of them is to kind of segregate the mind down into half, where we have the left half and we have the right half. And the left half, which I like to think of it as the left logical side of the brain. This is the side that will do all of your maths. It will read legal documentation. It will read learned texts and make meaning out of that text. So this is the left logical side. And then we have the right creative or the right emotive side of the brain. And these two sides of the brain tend to work in harmony throughout our everyday lives as we go through our lives. But there are moments in our lives when the emotion and the logical side of the brain are in conflict. So a good example of that could be when a family member or somebody within inside your social group, or someone in your corporate job, or another fellow student, whoever it happens to be, says something to you, or they do something that you blatantly disagree with, and suddenly there is an emotion attached to it. Could be anger, could be disgust, could be fear, could be sadness associated with that, and that will spike very quickly. And so this thing that was in homeostasis, that was in balance between the logic and the emotion, suddenly unbalances. And when there is conflict between the logic and the emotional side of the brain, a famous French psychologist Émile Coué theorized that when there is conflict between the emotive and the logical side of the brain, the emotive will always win. And that's why those periods where suddenly anger just suddenly rises, or where sadness suddenly just takes over because of an event in your external environment, that's because the emotive side of the brain has taken charge just for that period. Now, most emotions take about 90 seconds to flush through the body, and then they linger. And one of the topics that we'll talk about in the later sessions is why emotions linger. But typically, the emotions linger for about 90 seconds before they start to go back, and that's when this homeostasis starts to come back into play. So 90 seconds, emotive takes control, and then it gradually comes back again and brings us back into balance. So that's the type of thing that we'll be exploring. We'll be exploring in the workshops things about emotions, things about feelings and thoughts and beliefs, and how all of those things kind of interplay with each other, and how we can start to not necessarily control emotions, but how we can manage our emotions a lot better. So that will be kind of like the first workshop that I will run. The second workshop that I'll run will be around a much more experiential workshop, where we will take a negative circumstance in today's environment. So you will be able to do that individually yourself, and you will be able to work through the reasons why an emotion may rise up in you, and then what you can do about it when that emotion has actually risen up. And the type of emotion, the type of circumstance that I might talk about there or which you may choose because you'll be choosing your own individual circumstance, could be something to do with COVID, because obviously COVID is here today and it can generate a number of emotions in us. But you could choose whatever experience you wanted to think about during that particular workshop. So that would be workshop number 2. And the third workshop, actually, in the first 2, I might run a poll to see what topic we might run in the third workshop. And if we don't get a clear winner, then actually I think that my default will be that I'll actually run a third experiential workshop about how to manage emotions in high stress situations. So there I might be thinking about going to see your boss at work about asking him for a pay rise, or it could be sitting here waiting patiently to present in the next 2 minutes and getting more and more nervous before you actually go on to present, and how you can manage those types of emotions and feelings. So those would be the 3 workshops. One would be a discussion workshop in number 1. The second one will be a workshop to talk about negative circumstances and how you may go about understanding those negative circumstances. And the third one will be about how you manage high stress situations. So with that, Dr. Vasuda, emotions is my topic. I can hand it back to you. And I'm not hearing you at the moment, Dr. Vasuda.
Sorry. Thank you so much. And yes, emotions are very, very important, very, very significant. And it is a blend anatomically also and physiologically also. It is a blend and the connection between heart and mind. So with that, I introduce Ms. Rashmi Sharma, the director of Gayn Rashmi Foundation. And she has a total work experience of over 2 decades and 10 years into training. She is currently a mindfulness coach and director at Gayn Rashmi Training, life coach, master trainer at NSDC, Government of India, CBSC, soft skills, communication, time management, leadership, and motivation master trainer. Over to you, Ms. Rashmi. And I know that this Global Health Summit is her brainchild. So over to you, Ms. Rashmi.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vasudha. So my subject today is I'm talking about is spirituality, spiritual growth. What is spiritual journey is, and how we grow into spirituality. So before I go ahead, I would just like to share my screen, and I would ask a question here. Like if I ask you a question, who are you? Think about a little. You can't tell your name. We have some restrictions. You cannot tell what you do. Not even you can talk about your relationship, your religion, your caste, or not about your nationality. So just think about it. Who are you? I'm not going to have the answer right now, but giving you a time to go deeper and think about yourself. Who are you? So when we come into this, when this is the personality reality, we feel alive. What is the spirit? Before we go to spirituality, what is the spirit? What is actually about, when we talk about the soul life, we are a breathing personality. Something is there in us which differentiates between a dead person, dead body, and a live person. So that life, which is known as with the different names, somebody people say it is a spirit, it is energy, it is a soul, we call it atman also sometimes. So this breath, this chi, this energy, this is life, and for that we need a body and we need a soul which makes us alive. Second thing comes, we have a body and a mind, because our body is also with brains. We have thoughts, emotions. So this makes us emotional full. body and the mind. But here we are not talking about the soul. It is the normal life. It is the unconscious life, unaware life, which we normally do. It is the general way of living life. We live with the body and we think with the mind, and that's all. We live our life. Then next thing comes when we take mind and soul together. Then body is not there. This is not operating. It is subconscious. That means we are sleeping. Our body is not playing any active role, but our mind and our soul, because we are alive, we are breathing. It takes a playing their role, but we are not able to take any action. Then the triangle comes where body, mind, and soul are together. We have a body, we have mind, we can think, we can work, and soul that creates awareness. That is the self awareness. I know what I am doing right now. That focus on inside is the spirit. This is the real triangle where we live a life of awareness. So first thing about the spiritual journey is to going inside. You have to know yourself, who you are, who I am. And as a person, we have different layers, layers after layers. We do not reveal ourselves totally to anybody. So only we ourselves can know ourselves. Our parents, they do not know. They must be knowing it very well, but they do not know 100%. So we come across with as a different personality to different people. So what are our real personality inside? That knowledge is very important to know. And then our past. All our learning or knowledge is experienced based, which have come from our past. And we interpret the things which are coming today and will come tomorrow in future on the experience based on our past, how we have understood certain things in the past, and we will apply that knowledge to understand the future events also. And also to be how we interconnected with our environment, that can have people, that can have society, everything. And here comes, we feel we are different or similar to some people. What difference creates and what similarity creates? Like if you have a fire, you put anything into the fire, you put paper, you put log, whatever, it will burn out. But if you add more fire to fire, will it burn? No, it will not burn. It will become stronger. This is similarity. And like similar way, you have water. You add anything, it will get wet. But if you add water to water, what will happen? It will just expand in the quantity. So that is similarity and inclusion. That understanding is about spirituality. It is a self-discovery, who you are, how you similar, how you differentiate, and why do you feel differentiated with other people. And then you are grounded within yourself. Remaining knowing yourself is something else, but remaining there, grounded, it is just like a foundation. That is very, very important. But then when we come to spirituality, it is how we understand ourselves. Spirituality is just like a fire. It is warm, how it helps us. It is light, it gives us light. It is upward, flame goes upward. So it is an upward journey, and it is outside, inside out, not outside in. Outside in is materialistic objects, which we go there, we enjoy them, we take pleasure in it, but it is very temporary. When we have this pleasure inside out, then we are in harmony with other people. That pleasure, that is abstract, but that is permanent. That is there. You have to feel that. And how, what is the spiritual wellness? When we talk, I'm a spiritually well person, why it is important? Because it is the foundation. If you are not connected to yourself, it is not, you understand yourself and you are not grounded in yourself, there will be conflicts. So first of all, the main important thing is to know about what is the meaning and purpose of your life. It might not come clearly in the younger stage of your life, but you will, when we know that there is a purpose, that quest is again a purpose. The quest to know the purpose of your life is again a purpose. And then you have core values. If your action words are in alignment with your values, you will be at peace. And if they are in conflict, you will not be able to peace. In other way, it's an aware living, it's conscious living. You know what's happening, what's going on inside, but going on outside, and how you are dealing with it. So what happens? What are the things that you realize that what is there and what is not there? If you have a feeling of emptiness in yourself, if you have some anxieties and you feel that there is no meaning to your life, do you feel like you're judgmenting yourself all the time? You're loathing, self-loathing talks, you have low self-esteem, you criticize yourself, or you have apathy, or you have conflicting values. Your actions and your values do not match, but you are forced to do, and you don't know how to deal with the situation. That means you need to go inside. And when you do this, what will happen? You will display a hope. You will have a positive outlook. Then you will have forgiving. Then you will not take into your heart and have grudges for longer years. And then self acceptance. There is no self loathing. You will be committed to your meaning and purpose to grow. And then you will have a sense of self worth. You know what are your core values. You are clear about it. And when you have all these things, the most important things you will feel is the peace in your inside. But how? Now the next step goes how you can develop this thing. So this is mindfulness is the one of the most beautiful thing. As I just said, that being aware. Do you know you are attending this workshop right now? Are you aware? If you know you are here attending this seminar, you are aware. You are living in today. This is the first step of spirituality. This is the first step and the simple technique about mindfulness, where I am. I know I'm aware where I am, or mind is somewhere else, my body is somewhere else. We have to be together. Just remember, awareness, our body, and our mind, where they are together. That is spiritual journey. So mindfulness is one of the things that helps you to know yourself at the present, how you are aware of the circumstances. Then second thing, how you relate to your past. In the second workshop, we can explore how your relationship is with your past because it impacts each and every situation which comes in the present or will be coming in the future. And then how you can be so self-aware, self-grounded for the future that you start this journey and you really meet yourself who is a totally unknown person to you. You never knew this new you. Okay, so mindfulness is where it helps you. In the very moment, I asked you one question that yes, you are here in the if you know that you are here in this, and then you can have a look on your surrounding. What are the materials there? Matters, device, what kind of color it has, what material is you used, and what is your background, what is on your left, what is on your right, what is you can focus on, what you can see in your peripheral view. So that is when you become aware of your surrounding, that spotlight, that is when the spiritual journey starts. That is where from the mindfulness starts. And I'm looking forward. There is a lot of things to share, but I know there are constraints of time. I cannot keep on talking and talking about when we explore ourselves. It's such an interesting journey. So, not taking your time, I will just hand over back to Dr. Vasudha. Over to you, Dr. Vasudha, now. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Rashmiji. Very, very important. And of course, there is a lot of difference between being a religious person and being a spiritual person. And I think somewhere down the line, all of us are little bit spiritual when it comes to spirituality. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Larry. He is a quality specialist, executive business coach, and speaker. Uh, he's in Richfield, Ohio, US, a United States sales and marketing professional. He's an experienced sales solopreneur, entrepreneur, and board chairman working with entrepreneurs, boards of directors, managers, decision makers, and leaders of the industry. He's also an assertive business development professional and investor. So over to you, Mr. Lawrence.
Thank you, and hello, everyone. Thank you, Rashmi, for putting this webinar together today, and I am honored to be part of this summit. I hope everyone is finding value with all the speakers and presentations today. And there are three subjects we are usually advised not to talk about. They are our opinions about politics, religion, and money, because they are emotionally driven, as Stuart was talking about, and less logically driven. I happen to like discussions about all three, but today I will focus only on the third. On the theme of relationships that Kazmina started us off with today, My question is, what is your relationship with money? How do you feel about money? And is COVID causing you to pivot on your financial goals due to its economic impacts? Money matters to all of us. If it did not, it would not be the second leading cause of divorce and a source of stress and anxiety in many of our lives. I learned from many years of running my investment group that views of money are as important and unique as each individual. I commonly coach clients in my life about their businesses, their views about money, and their relationships with both. Your relationship with money is often a determining factor to your success. It is important to know your financial numbers and understand where they are taking you. Finances are not a function of income, but rather of how our minds work. So where do we come up with our views and our relationship with money? How do we create our self-talk, our conversations and feelings about the subject of finances? Much of how we interact, manage, feel, and talk about money comes from lessons that we learned as children. How our parents, our role models responded to money created much of our programming, our mental programming, as to how we earn, save, spend, and invest our money. Our view of money creates abundance or scarcity depending on our thinking and our actions. We become aware of how we talk, feel, and act about money. We need to become aware of how we talk, feel, and act about money to understand our relationship with it. Money is just really a concept, regardless if it's the coins, paper, or plastic, credit or debit cards in your pocket, purse, or wallet, or if it's digital currency such as Bitcoin in a digital account, or even a leveraged investment. Earned income is simply the value we place on our knowledge and time in exchange for money, which is really just a tool of exchange to trade for what we want, need, or value in life. There are different types of income, such as earned, passive, and portfolio incomes, which have different advantages and disadvantages. Regardless of your type of income, it can only be used in basically three ways. You can spend it, save it, and or invest it. By developing a vision, financial plan, and budget covering all three will strengthen our relationship with money. Spending is our exchange of money for the things we need or want. We need to know and be aware of what our financial break-even point is. This is the minimum amount of income we need to survive. Above the break-even point is our discretionary income. Our personal discretionary spending will shed light on what our life values really are. Always be spending towards your dreams, goals, and enough on your lifestyle to keep yourself motivated. Overspending on credit and creating bad debt is like divorcing your money before you even earn it. Remember, early on, things you own are better than possessions that create bad debt. So if you currently have bad debt, start by creating a good strategy. And when I say good stands for get out of debt strategy. Speaking of using debt, it is important to always protect your credit score. A good credit score shows the world your commitment to a strong financial relationship with money. Not having debt is better than a bad asset and a tax write-off. By the way, make sure you pay your taxes. No one wants the government coming after them. A savings account is a must to create financial discipline. So you need to determine your minimum savings account balance by how much you need in your account to not feel anxiety. How much or how little savings makes you comfortable? You need to think about that. Think of your savings account like your vehicle's gas tank. How close to E or empty can you get before you start getting anxious about not reaching your financial destination? If you currently don't don't know this amount, make it a first priority goal to figure it out. Because once you know it, you'll have less stress in your life. On the other hand, hoarding money in a savings account is lost potential in your financial relationship. To put the excess into cash generating investments instead of just sitting in a savings account or parked in your savings account. It is healthy for your relationship with money to put it to work for you and not you always working for it. A friend of mine calls this planting prosperity, and I think it is a great investing mindset. Every dollar planted in an investment has the chance to grow a return on investment, otherwise known as an ROI, in appreciation and cash flow. Investing might be the least understood part of our financial relationships. I have friends that I discuss investing with, but two come to mind, and I just want to share a couple quick stories. One friend was trading a rolling stock when it started to climb, and he sold at a good ROI. Unfortunately, because of his fear of missing out on his gains, he sold really early and could have been a millionaire just on this one investment with the stocks he had if he would have just held on to that investment. Another friend of mine is an active day trader and has become a millionaire from his knowledge and his trading strategy. Your investment relationship should include both short and long-term goals. Investing is a risk versus reward based relationship. So I would recommend you start slow to determine your unique risk tolerances. Always know your entrance and exit strategies of each investment based on the risk tolerance and your understanding of the individual investment. Manage and reduce your risk through financial intelligence. I recommend you set a date night with your finances to set your goals and continue to build your positive relationship with money, and join us on our upcoming financial workshops. Have a vision of your financial future, monitor your spending, savings, and investment so your financial plan will eventually lead you to wealth management. Now, thank you for listening to all of us today, and I want to put out that since you stayed to the end, we put together a handout for you on the Wheel of Life based on all the subjects that were presented today to help you determine how you can best fit your weakness so you can join in our upcoming workshops. The Wheel of Life is a great tool. Let me share this really quick. And if Rashmi, you want to pop the link into the chat so people could download it, that would be great. So on the Wheel of Life, we're gonna give you today, all the subjects that were presented are going to be one segment of the wheel, and there's going to be full instructions on the wheel itself and how to put it together, along with questions submitted by each speaker today, each presenter today. There'll be 5 questions to help you kind of get an understanding of how balanced your life is based on our subject matter today. So this will be presented, and it should be coming up in the chat box shortly.
Yeah, 1 minute. I'll just do that.
Yes, thank you, Rashmi. And we're also going to be presenting 3 workshops based on each subject. Now, I know there's some great speakers today. There's some great information that was given, and we can't all work on everything at one time. So we find it's best to work on one subject matter at a time. So we're going to be presenting 3 workshops. You're going to have an opportunity to choose any one of us to work with for 3 upcoming workshops on the subject matter that was presented. And the price was set because this is an introductory offer. We don't know how long this is going to last at this price. So I highly recommend that if you have a subject matter that you're interested in, definitely take advantage of getting involved with the 3 workshops. go a little bit deeper into the information that was presented on where you feel the need right now. And we put out the offer for you to join us and share some time in an upcoming workshop with us. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to our host.
So here is the link. Yeah, I have put the link. Yeah, please, Vasudha.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lawrence, for such a beautiful and enriching session. And I'm sure that many people are going to be benefiting out of it. With this, we come to the end of the speakers, but we are open to the questions. So I would like to take Mr. Tushar Mishra's question that was to our first speaker. So he asked that, or Mr. Tushar, if you want to ask yourself, so you can unmute yourself and ask the question yourself. Over to you, Mr. Tushar.
Well, thank you very much. My query was that when do you exactly feel like connecting to someone? Only when you are enamored by one's personality, one's virtues, one's attributes. So if you want to connect yourself, you must have some respect for yourself. That yes, you are an honest person, you are a trustworthy person, you are a kind person, you are a generous person. Unless you find one of those things, I don't think you would have a passion to, develop relationship with yourself within. It is as it is with other people, it is with you also. You don't develop relationship, with anyone. Okay? So the idea is that you have to improve upon your conduct, your behavior, your value systems, and then only you will have emotional connect with yourself. That was my submission, and Cosmina has very well said all these things. And my submission was that if she emphasizes upon such aspect for emotional well-being, that would be better. That would be more practical rather than giving sermons that we should be good and we should be connected to ourselves. That's all. Thank you.
So, Mr. Mishra, what is your question in this? This was we were taking the questions, so I didn't get your question. Cosmina, are you there?
Yes, yes, I am here, Vasudaji, and thank you, Mr. Tushar, for expanding on that. And indeed, we cannot build connections with other people, healthy connections, I have to add, with other people, unless we really have a healthy connection with ourselves and we truly know ourselves. And as you mentioned, knowing our values and how we show up, right, for other people. So I totally agree indeed that it's very important, and that was my purpose, my main point in the presentation that I have given, that the relationship with ourselves, how we are to ourselves, our self-esteem, self-worth, has an impact on how we come across and how we show up for other people and the connections that we build. So if they are coming from a place of authenticity of how we really are, or there are so many people who are just putting on a mask in like it's very, very simple to observe this phenomenon whenever you look, for example, on social media. Everyone wants to show like the best life and the best part of themselves, but nobody actually is vulnerable and showing like their real because nobody has the perfect life. Nobody is perfect. We are all imperfect creatures, human beings. And it's very important to actually have this courage to be vulnerable, because vulnerability is the one that fosters authentic connection and relationships with other people. I hope that makes sense and answers your question.
You have answered my question very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tushar.
Thank you so much, Cosmina. Now I come to Rashmi ji. So Rashmi ji, for question for you is, can a good man living virtuous life be called a spiritual person? So please throw some light on this.
Yes, this is good that we can be living a good life, virtuous life, where we are caring for other people as well. And hello, okay,
We
so
can hear you.
okay, so I don't know what happened.
Can someone put Rashmi ji on spotlight, please?
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah, thank you so much. I was not able to see anyone here. Actually, that was the problem. I said where I'm lost here. Yes, it is good. We appreciate that kind of a life where a person is good, when where is the person is living a virtuous life, caring for others. That is all around. But here, that person can feel good. That person can be satisfied, but that ultimate connection with the inner self and the growth will not happen, because mm, max in the majority these things are related to the selfish environment. He's doing good for the family, he's doing good for the himself, and he's taking care of the people he care for. But it is not beyond that where we find a fulfillment in our life. No one will deny that he is a worth appreciation a person, and but still there is something missing in the life. And if that person goes inside, becomes an aware living, that person can get angry at times. It is the if he's not conscious about how the thoughts are going on. When we are aware, when I'm conscious, I immediately come to know, oh, I'm getting angry. So that moment, I can have realized that power in me, that I have the choice, get angry or not to get angry. And even if I get angry at that moment, that anger is a not unconscious anger. That is a conscious anger. That will not be destructive as the unconscious anger, where you can do without thinking anything, any harm to anybody, to any extent. But when you are conscious, then you will be able to decide that need do I need to have show my anger? If it is necessary, show anger. And that is constructive anger. So there might be a point when that person can slip away, can go unconscious. So it is better recommended to look inside. That is my answer. It is worth appreciable, but there is one more step ahead that person can rise and easily can rise.
Thank you so much. Now I have a question for Stuart. Stuart, what do you think are the differences between emotions and feelings? Is Stuart there?
I certainly am.
Thanks.
Hi,
Rashmi,
hi,
can
Doctor.
you put him on spotlight? Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Really good question. We talked about the kind of 6 primary emotions: happy, sad, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. I like to see them as being kind of like if you to visualize a tree, and the roots and the trunk of a tree would be the kind of, how would you describe it, the external circumstance. So the thing that happens to us that then causes something to arise. So the roots and the trunk of the tree are the external circumstance. The branches of the tree, the thick branches, those 6 thick branches are the emotions: happiness, sad, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. And then the small twigs and the leaves, they are the feelings. They're kind of like emotions, but feelings tend to arrive more from what we've learned through our lives, whereas emotions tend to come from the autonomic, subconscious, unconscious mind. So they're driven more autonomously, automatically, subconsciously, whereas the feelings tend to be driven by things that we have learned, typically from authoritative figures in our earlier life, and they become the small twigs and leaves. They're very, very closely related, feelings and emotions. But I see the emotions as being the trunks, being the thick branches, and the feelings being the smaller twigs and the leaves. Thank you, Dr. Vasuda.
Thank you, Stuart, so much. I think Mr. Deepak wants to ask a question. So I think towards the end, we allow him to. So yes, Mr. Deepak, you had a question, please.
Hello.
Please unmute
Am I audible?
yourself.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah, a very good evening to everyone, and thank you, Rashmi ma'am, to arrange this meeting, and thanks to each and every speaker. It was a very fruitful meeting. My question goes to Stuart. Stuart, you told when you explained about the emotions, you mostly spoke about the negative emotions, the anger. Whenever there is a disbalance, there is a balance, and whenever there is a disbalance, it is anger or sadness or worry or surprise, something. Is there any sway towards the positive emotions like happiness or good feel? And is there any position of mind or state of mind which is called equilibrium? Hello.
So I think if I understood your question, Deepak, correctly, and thank you for asking that question. Yes, you're absolutely right that I focused in on the more negative emotions, and that's because in the world that I live, the people who come to me for sessions.
Rashmi ji, spotlight on Stuart. We can't see him.
1 minute here. I think yes.
Sorry, Stuart. Please carry on. We wanted the spotlight on you.
Yeah, sure. So the people who come to me for sessions tend to want to or tend to need to focus on this imbalance of the negative emotion versus the logical side of the brain or the mind, and so I do tend to focus on those. But you're absolutely right. The same what I said was absolutely true for positive emotions, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head now. So I'm a big sports fan. 6 months ago, I had a big sports event for my sports team. They happened to win. That created a massive feeling of euphoria. So at that particular time, my emotional side went completely very emotive indeed, very happy, and it took probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes for that to subside, for then to be able to have a much more balanced, logical discussion actually with my son, who was also there at the time. So yes, it is absolutely the same discussion that typically for negatives we focus on that, but it is also true as well for the more positive emotions as well, where that state will stay for 90 seconds, couple of minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, before the logical side of the mind, the thing that we may call the executive function, can click in again, and then we can have a much more logical discussion. In this case, it was talking about soccer. A much more logical discussion about how a goal was scored. But for a couple of minutes, how the goal was scored was irrelevant. It was euphoria. It was happiness.
And if I may add, Stuart, to what you said, so Deepak was talking about something called equilibrium. So that state is a bit difficult to achieve, because usually when we have lots and lots of challenges in our lives, we always ask the Creator or the Almighty that, why always me? Why I'm just stuck into this? But something when we are into that journey where everything is as per our own wish, then we don't ask why me. So I think equilibrium is the state where we are not very happy, or we are not very happy, elated with the happiness, but at the same point in time, we are not very sad or think when things are not going our way. So I think that that balance needs to be there. So it comes with lot of humility and experience. So yes, that I just wanted to add that.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Vasudha. I'd missed that little nuance of the question, and if I can just continue on from your response as well. For me, one of the keys is awareness, and actually, it's going to be part of one of the workshops that I run later on. As soon as you become aware of this emotional side just taking over, that's the first step to bringing equilibrium back into our life. And it was one of the things that I personally had to learn sort of 7 or 8 years ago. As soon as you become aware of what the kickers, the triggers are that trigger these emotional reactions, then we can start to do something about them. Typically, they are born around beliefs that happen in our early childhood from authoritative figures. And once we start to understand what the triggers are and what the beliefs are, then we can start to really bring this balance, the awareness back into our lives.
Thank you. I think we are we are done with the question answers and everything. I think Miss Cosmina will leave at 7:25. So over to you, Miss Rashmi, for the next proceedings.
Thank you so much. Yes, she has to host another meeting, and she will be there. She has to leave. I'll just call her to say goodbye within 2 minutes. And this was a wonderful gathering today. We enjoyed it today. I have one question that I have posted that Wheel of Life PDF many times, but still I receive answer that they are not seeing it there. Can anybody check it and tell me that
it's there in the chat box? It's there in the chat box. The link is there in the chat box.
In the chat box.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much. Now I would just request Cosmina.
Thank you, Rashmi ji, and thank you everyone for participating and giving of your time to be with us today. And I'm really looking forward to be working with you in the future workshops in case you are interested. And it was really an honor to be here. Thank you for the invitation, Rashmi ji.
Thank you so much.
With this being said, I just want to hop off because I have another event scheduled out. Thank you again, and see you all soon, hopefully. Bye.
Bye. Take care. Thank you. So, okay, once again, I would just request about that we will mail the details to you about we are going to have 3 sessions as Mr. Leziak has shared with you, that they will be on 4th of December, 11th of December and 18th of December, and the time will be 6:30 to 7:30. We all together will have your different turn by turn, wherever you would like to, whatever the things you would like to discuss with the area of your life which you would like to sort about, and we will sharing this wheel of life so that we can find out which area is the most important for you to take care of to start with. And I would just like to invite Mr. Lawrence Leziak once again to share the few details once again with the people there.
Which details would you like me to go over, Rush? I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Shared. Yeah. So we will, like I have shared the details, the dates of the workshops which we are going to take together on 4th of December, 11th of December and 18th of December, that Friday. All these are the Fridays, and we will take it from 6:30 to 7:30 a session, and the cost is $50 for all the 3 workshops. Okay, so I just wanted to confirm that we have shared that.
Does anyone have any questions on the Wheel of Life other than that you have not been able to download it? Because it should be in the chat, and there's multiple links in the chat. If you don't know how to bring up the chat, there's a little button at the bottom of the Zoom You should be able to bring up the chat and click on any of the links. I've tried them, they work. So you should be able to bring up the Wheel of Life. Was there any questions on that though? Just real quick. Okay, excellent. Everyone's got it, Rashmi.
Okay. Thank you so much, Larry. I will suggest, thank you so much, everyone. On behalf of Gayn Rashmi Trainings, I would like to thank, one question there is. Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yes, my question to Lawrence. There's a proverb: money makes money, money begets money. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes,
you're audible.
There's a proverb: money earns money. है ना? Can I earn money without investing money? Without using money?
Can you? Well, you could earn money without investing money by working. I mean, that's one of the ways to do it. But leveraging your money and putting it to work for you helps you to work less and make more because your money is working for you instead of you just working for your money. But money is really a concept. If you get the concept of money down, you can find ways to create money without working. You know, every entrepreneur goes out and finds a problem, solves a problem, and can create a business around it where they hire other people to work and they're making money that way. So, I mean, there's different ways to create money. Like I said, there's earned income where you're working for it. There's passive income and portfolio income, which is investments and businesses and things like that. So does that answer your question or?
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Really,
Thank you
to make money, it takes an idea and it takes knowledge.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Do you have someone in mind that you follow on financial matters or?
Not exactly. I'm not following anyone right now.
Okay. No, it's a good question. Because most people think, you know, we're taught to go to school, get good grades, get a good job, you know, and that's not necessarily, you know, from the entrepreneurial side, that's not always the case because we want to hire people that have good grades and give them good jobs. But on the entrepreneurial side, we don't want to do all the work. So we want to leverage other people's knowledge and talents. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to go about creating value and money.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. All right, Rashmi.
Hi. So over to, I thank you so much, Vasudha ma'am. She was there, Dr. Vasudha, and she has just spent, her contribution is really appreciable for the whole Gayn Rashmi team. And I will just over to you, Vasudha ma'am, to give it a close. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rashmi ji. Of course, it was very interesting session. And with that, we come to the end of the session. And a big thanks to all the delegates, to all the panelists to make this webinar very successful. And all the best to Gayn Rashmi to be doing such great sessions in future also. So I think now the delegates can leave the meeting. And with this, we come to the end of our Global Mental Health Summit. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.